I'm Scott Al Miller. It is the 13th of February, 2023. This is my vlog of daily life in Leon, Nicaragua, and today I discovered this little path near Parque Arlencillo, and I stepped off the road so I could go explore it. I have no idea where this goes or what it is. I'm going to turn the camera around so you can see it, and we're going to get to that right after the bump.
I deal with what I'm feeling. Maybe I just don't. What you do when I'm in ruins.
All right, I don't know where this goes. We're going to head down this path right now. So today's topic, because this is Monday, I had a lot of work, and we have like kind of a schedule that's letting us do some travel with some friends, Dominica and I, and so we decided that we were going to go somewhere this week, and we originally thought we were going to head to the city of Boaco, because Boaco and Huigalpa are the two cities left of any size that I've not yet explored here in Nicaragua, and I want to be able to go do some filming and exploring and be able to bring more information to you guys, and I thought it'd be a lot of fun. Dominica does not like particularly going to places that don't have attractions. She wants a plan, a reason to be there, and so forth. And while I'm all set to go to Boaco, I know exactly why I want to go and what I want to see and do. That's not going to cut it for her. Okay, this one path goes to what looks like an old abandoned house over there. Not what I was expecting. And we're going to keep heading forward. This looks like maybe it goes to the backside of the park. This is a weird path, have to say. Okay, this used to be something. All right. Sometimes you stumble on the weirdest things as you walk around in the middle of nowhere. Another abandoned building back there. Paths leading to each of these buildings. That in front of us is clearly Parque Arlencillo. And then this path goes back up to the road just south of Santa Maria. I don't know what this used to be. This looks like the outside of what used to be a fancy fence. That would be my guess. These were the support beams, support posts that went between them. And this was the house. And if we come over here, this house, that must have been the back wall, had another layer, steps going down, an outbuilding, and then that's the river down there that we're looking at down along there. And maybe that building was associated with it. Who knows? But interesting. And then that's the Santa Maria community that you can see rising through the trees over there. Well, that was a little bit interesting. I'm not sure it was worth getting off the path to come find, but now I know where that path goes. So now when I walk by, I don't have to wonder. And that's got value, I suppose. I'll turn this around so you can see the path I came down. Now, so Boaco is out, and I'm going to go do that at some point with the team when Dominica is not with me. She wants to do more interesting things. We, 8 years ago, went to the island of Ometepe and have not been back since. And Ometepe, being a big tourist attraction, is much more attractive. So we decided, since some of the folks going with us had never been there and some had not been there in like 11 years, and we had not been in 8 years, that Ometepe was a good choice. And when we did go to Ometepe previously, we went with the kids and just did a single day trip, meaning we took the ferry over in the morning and the ferry back in the evening, and that made for a very limited amount of seeing Ometepe. We didn't really get that much of the Ometepe experience. We did have fun. We took a tour, went around the island, got to see a good amount of it, and explored some of the famous attractions like the Ojos de Agua springs where you go swimming, and some of the old pre-Columbian carvings. And sorry for the wind, it's a very windy day as I go for this walk. That's Nicaragua 14 that I'm coming up on right there. I think you can see it. I'll stick you up in the air a little bit and bring it back around. So we decided, since we only got to do this really quick in and out of Ometepe 8 years ago, that it was time for us to go back to Ometepe and explore more. So we're heading tomorrow to Ometepe, and we're going to be there all day Wednesday, all day Thursday, and then we got to leave early Friday morning because Dominica needs to be in Managua for shopping for the house and for the hotels. Trying to block some of the wind. Sorry for it. It is really windy. I'm down in the trees, like down below, and it's significant wind, but there's no storm coming in. It's just a really windy day. And I need to be back just to do work because being away, even though I'll have my laptop and everything with me, is always really tough. So we're heading out tomorrow. So today's topic, we're going to discuss Ometepe, so you are prepared for what to be watching for on the upcoming videos. All right, so let's talk about what makes Ometepe special. First of all, what is Ometepe? It's an island. For those who don't know, who are living under the Nicaragua rock, it is a very important island. It's one of the most important spots in Nicaragua, and specifically, it is an incredibly large volcanic island, and more explicitly, a dual volcanic island. And what makes it really, really special is that it is located in the middle of a lake, a giant dual volcanic island in the middle of a gigantic lake. And on this gigantic dual volcanic island in the middle of a gigantic lake live about 50,000 people in multiple settlements. And so there's a lot of, hola, buenas tardes. So there's a lot of interesting and unique things that happen on Ometepe because it's just so different than anywhere else. Not just anywhere else in Nicaragua, it's just different than anywhere else. There aren't very many settled lake islands anywhere in the world. Like, that's not much of a thing. And volcanic islands like this, not that common either. You start putting those things together, you're getting a really unique situation. So there's two volcanoes. The big one is Concepcion, and it is active. The smaller one is Madeiras. It is older. It is dormant or dead. I don't know. But it has not erupted in a very long time. No one's worried about it. But Concepcion is potentially going to erupt, and from time to time does some stuff. The island is big. It takes hours to drive around, which is really interesting. It also takes a long time to get to. So to get to it, we are going to tomorrow have to travel from Leon to Managua, and from Managua down to San Jorge. That is the only remaining port servicing Ometepe currently. When times are good, Granada has a major port that also services it and San Jorge directly. And San Carlos on the southeast side of the lake, which is also the mouth of the San Juan River, it also has a port that can, in theory, go to Ometepe, but it typically just goes to Lake Granada and San Jorge, and then they go to Ometepe. But in theory, all of them can go there. The country runs not just launches, which are like, they will give you the feeling of a fishing boat. They're small boats that really just take a lot of people and a little bit of cargo, but they also run full ferries that they load up with good-sized trucks and ship everything over to the island, because obviously an island in the middle of a lake has no resources of its own, and everything needs to be brought in. Now they do, because it's a volcanic island, they do grow some crops over there, actually quite a lot of crops. There's a lot of volcanic soil and a lot of potential for making things like coffee and bananas or whatever. So a lot of things are grown over there, a lot of fruits come from there, and the trade goes bi-directionally. So a lot of resources come in every day, all the building supplies, all the products and things to use, they're all shipped into the island, and fruit and other produce are shipped off of the island every day. And the boats go constantly. It's not like there's just one boat a day like you might expect. It is a non-stop flow of them. At times they go every 20 or 30 minutes. Other times they only go so often, and they only run for about 12 hours of the day. So there is a long period of time where, and this is important, if you go to the island, you could be trapped. So you need to be planning around when your last boat is off the island, or you may be in for a surprise, and a very rough one. So just be aware. We do know people, Cat, who went over to the island, ended up there during a hurricane. They lost power. She didn't have access to anything. No ATMs, no people that she knew, no phone, no anything, and they lost power, so she couldn't even use free Wi-Fi and free charging at a restaurant or anything to try to get access, to talk to people, to try to get help or anything. It was a very rough situation. So you do want to be a little bit careful when going to the island that you have some amount of resources and some backup plan, because you can be very, very isolated. Make sure you always have enough money to stay extra nights, even in just a cheap place. Make sure you always have enough money to get on the ferry home or whatever. So just important things to note, that it is an isolated island, and once they shut things down, it is done. There's no coming back. There's just that ferry run. There's more than one ferry, but there's only the one run to San Jorge. So once they close the port for the day, you're in for the night. But that also makes it an amazing experience, because you have all the day trippers who are in there, and there's a lot of tourists during the day, but quite a large percentage of them get on the boat home on any given night. And so at night, on Ometepe, it gets really quiet. There's very few people staying, and those that are generally in for a pretty quiet experience. That's what they're looking for. And so it is a sleepy place at night with a very captive audience that can be quite interesting. I'm just gonna turn around and show the beautiful sky here over the cemetery while I'm talking. It's I was not expecting clouds to roll in like this. I don't know what's going on. Maybe we have a storm system, but I think it's just a lot of clouds, a lot of bright blue sky behind everything. So I've never actually shown this cemetery up close, or this crazy ditch that goes up to it. I would not want to fall in that ditch. That could carry a lot of water, but it could also break a leg. That is Nicaragua 14 that you see everyone driving down right there. All right. So Ometepe is just, it's a beautiful place, and it's so different and unique than anything else. And it thrives off of a combination of a small, local, rural farming economy and the tourists. There's only a few centers of population. A lot of the island is extremely isolated, and a lot of the roads are still dirt and mostly impassable. It's popular to take ATVs around the island for that reason. There is a push to pave the island because that's going to turn it into a much more attractive tourist destination. It's going to make much more of the island accessible. Currently, there's only small areas that tourists go to primarily, and so people go to the island, go to this really small area, and never leave because it's really difficult to. And if it was paved, they would have it would spread the tourists around the island. They'd be able to handle 2 or 3 times as many tourists with the same existing island infrastructure, other than the roads, pretty easily. And that's important, right? They're at a point where people are discouraged from going to the island as tourists in many cases, simply because there's too many tourists where you can go and nothing where you can't, and there could be much better use of the space made if they were just make it more accessible. Ometepe has also earned a reputation for being quite a famous hippie location, especially on the eastern island on Madeiras. On the north side more than on the south side, especially around the region of Balway, there is an entire really well-known kind of, I don't know if hippie community is the right way to put it, but it is a hot destination for the hippie community to go to. And there's a lot of people who live there quite a lot of the time. And so it has a certain feel in many ways. If you're familiar with Lago de Atitlan in Guatemala, which we have shown on the show previously, the two have a lot in common. And you can see why when we get there, you'll get a lot of the same feeling. I'm going to show, I just love this house that's nestled. Like when you drive by, you have no idea this is here. It's so hard to catch this house, and it's just a simple small house, but it's attractive down below. It has this giant open space above and these really nice hedges and fences and gardens. It's a great spot here on the edge of the city. I just like finding these. There's also, okay, I'm going to turn the camera a bit. I just found these today. I don't know why I didn't notice before, but there's a couple houses hidden behind walls over here, and I think they're part of the Santa Maria community, or yeah. So I've probably looked at them before, but not from this angle, and didn't realize that they're quite so visible from the road here. Anyway, I just like that angle on them. So Ometepe is interesting in that you have this it's really a separate population from Nicaragua, because they have to work so hard to come to and from the mainland that they might as well be their own place culturally. I mean, obviously they still speak Spanish. They're still Nicaragua. They're still governed under the same, the ferry goes back and forth every day. It's not that isolated, but it's pretty isolated. They're off on their own and do their own thing. And when you're on Ometepe, it's going to have its own feel. They do their roads a little bit differently. They do their drainage a little differently. They have just a different look and feel about everything. And the speed of traffic is slower. They don't have through roads going to anywhere. They just have the ring road going around the island that people kind of go in a loop. There isn't a lot of reason to drive from place to place. Like it has a very different feel, and I think that's going to be noticeable. And it's really famous for all of its beaches, because it's an island, so the whole thing is beaches with 2 volcanoes. So no matter where you are, there are views. There's views of a lake, there's views of the mainland, there's views of the volcanoes, and in many cases you have views of all 3 all the time. So it's really fantastic in that way and interesting, but it's especially well known for its sunrises and sunsets, because it just has all the right angles for that. and its beaches are really popular here because it's one of the places that has freshwater beaches. Nicaragua has Pacific and Caribbean beaches, of course, and that's what it's most well known for. But the Nicaraguan population tends to utilize the lakes far more than it uses the ocean. And so all of the interior lakes are relatively busy with local Nicaraguan tourist traffic as they go there for day trips. That creates a very different feel. So when you go to the ocean here in Nicaragua, you're going to Las Piñitas or Punta Loya, you're going to San Juan del Sur, you're going to Huihuigalpa, all those places. Right, you're getting a lot of Nicaraguans, but also a lot of expats, a lot of foreigners, a lot of backpackers. They're general tourist destinations, and they have that feel, and they feel much more like normal Nicaragua. When you go to a lot of the lake destinations, Ometepe is different, but a lot of the lake destinations, you have absolutely no foreigners, no expats, no one except for Nicaraguans who are going there, and you get a very different feel because of that. And Ometepe kind of blends those two in a weird way that's hard to explain, but it is very, very different than anything you're going to find anywhere else in the country, and really than anywhere. So it's really unique and special, and that's something that I really look forward to seeing again. So that is our plan for tomorrow. I'm going to be documenting our trip on getting out to Ometepe, because I think that's going to be really interesting, like what it takes for us to get there, because it is not trivial. And one of the reasons that you may, if you're here on vacation, not want to make Ometepe an absolute must-see on your list is because it can be really hard to get to, and you can end up using a lot of your time trying to get to it. Also, it may be something you have to put on your must-see list because it's unique and so special that you can't possibly pass it up no matter how much work it takes to get to. Both are possibilities. So we're going to show the trip from León tomorrow so you can see what it took for us to get there, and then you can see our adventure on the island once we arrive. But I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I look forward to taking you guys with me, and we're really excited to be able to go. Like, first of all, we don't get vacations around the country that often, and Ometepe is a really special place that we did not get to see anywhere near enough of last time we were here. Paul did go fairly recently, did give us a couple places that he thinks we need to go, especially in Balway, to the Cafe Campestre. A lot of people have mentioned that, so we're going to make a point of making it out there. Before everyone throws in the comments, you got to go to Cafe Campestre. Yes, I know we're going to go, and we'll let you know what it's like. But that is our plan for tomorrow. So tonight we are just chilling in León, getting some sleep, and getting ready so that we're able to go in the morning. I'm doing everything I can. I worked really late tonight getting uploads done so that there's enough videos posted so that we're able to go. And yeah. We'll see you in Ometepe tomorrow. So please remember to like and subscribe. If you'd like to support the channel, you can get down there and buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/ScottAlanMiller. Leave your comments and questions down. You want to talk about Ometepe and travel to and from and what it's like on the island, all that stuff. Get down there in the comments. Let's start talking about it. But we are going to be showing a bunch of stuff over the next few days. And as always, share on social media. Tell your friends about the show. Get more people to watch. If you have a moment, go watch another episode. Even if you just leave it on in the background, hit like, let it play. Helps out a lot. And I will see all of you from the bus on our way, because we're not driving there. We're taking the public buses. We're doing it the right way. And we're also going to discuss the Ishimche bus and leave the information on that tomorrow. So tune in tomorrow. I said it wrong. I'll see you all tomorrow.